We're here on CultureShare today with Michael Mitchell, otherwise known as Senator from Grenada. Michael, welcome to CultureShare.
It's indeed a pleasure to be here.
All right. Michael, you've been an MC and a very well-known person in Grenada, MCing Dimanche Gras Show since 1980. You want to tell us a little bit about those experiences?
The experience is tremendous. It started way back in school, very much motivated by cultural vibes, poetry, literature, and very much involved in working among groups of youths and students.
Okay, and I understand that originally you were really into poetry, going back several years. You have a wide collection of poetry. What inspired you to write poetry back then?
What inspired me to write poetry way back then is the closeness to my great-grandmother, who is still alive. She's 109. And it amazed me what keeps her going. And I kept interviewing her. You know, she make mention of the food of long ago as food compared to today. You know, the whole question of how they grew up.
Right.
You know, and I compared, sort of try to make comparison between her times and today.
Right.
And all these sort of like vehicle, a catalyst to spur up that action to get pen and paper together.
Okay, so you could say your grandmother's really been a very strong inspiration in your life.
Precisely.
Okay, that's nice. Very good. And you also have mentioned that you're into herbal medicines, and I guess with your grandmother's longevity, that interest has been piqued there. How have you incorporated that into your own life now?
Well, the fact remains too that my great-grandmother, being what we call back home a bush doctor, like from time to time people bring their children, you know, the children suffering from some complaint, and they felt that my great-grandmother had that inspiration to diagnose that problem via herbal treatment.
Right.
And as such, she will render some of her herbs, and amazingly the children or the patient got better. So even one of my poems, if I can recall, I make mention of my great-grandmother telling me that in her days the food was nourishing, but nowadays the value is decreasing. A cabbage long ago could have bust she too, but the cabbage nowadays just big and flow. Too much chemicals in the soil, the land hardly producing, the soil virtually barren, and some countries severe famine. Well, I turn and ask she, why, granny, why? And she tell me, Saki fega so, vini ukai, why? Come here, come in. You go see it, my grandson. All these are inspiration. You know, as I say, the comparison can be drawn her times and today.
All right. Okay. Very good. All right. And you also consider yourself, you know, not only a poet, but also a cultural activist. And is that how you got the name Senator?
Yes, the name Senator. A lot of people, you know, ask me the question, why Senator? Where that name came from? It was a name given to me way back in school in 1970. And it's strange. Government come, government go. Leaders come, leaders go. Party come, party go. Senators come, senators go. The only senator that remains, the permanent senator, the people's senator, the cultural senator, is this one sitting right here.
Well, I'm sure the people would agree with that. You've been on the scene for quite some time and don't seem to be going anywhere soon. You've also performed at, you've emceed a few shows recently here in New York. You've been at Tilden Hall. You've also made your way to Tops. And G.B.T.V caught you at Tilden Hall, as a matter of fact, not too long ago. doing some kind of antics dollar wine. And you want to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to make those movements that night?
Being a cultural activist, I get the opportunity to travel a lot. And I happened to be in Trinidad for Carnival this year. And the dollar wine was the in thing.
Right.
I did not participate in the dollar wine in Trinidad. However, I looked at it, I programmed it in my mental faculties, and having returned to Grenada, we had this concert with the man himself, Colin Lucas. And he got on the stage, and while performing, he asked if anyone in the audience, as a matter of fact, I was emceeing that show, he asked if anyone in Grenada could do the dollar wine. And everybody, you know, said, well, somebody go up. And something said, well, you're not doing it because you want to do it, but you're doing it because the man asked for a challenge.
Right.
And no one went up. So I said, okay, I'm going to challenge you. And Colin Lucas looked at me. He said, Senator, this is not a dollar. I said, you're sure right. This is not a Trini dollar. This is a Yankee dollar. Because in Trinidad, by that time, it was 5-1. So he was getting a 5-1 with dashing Tanya, blogger fig, dashing Kalalu, everything. Isla Spice, dollar wine.
So he was in trouble.
Serious competition.
Something he'll never forget. Well. Okay, so back to the Mardi Gras. Recently, you were at the Mardi Gras in 1991 competition, and prior years also. You must have seen a lot of Calypsonians come and go. What do you think is the strongest point of the Calypsonians out of Grenada today, and what do you think contributes to the staying power of those who keep coming back?
Well, the question is a very complex question. And I must start off by saying that Calypso is definitely on the rise in Grenada. I think Calypso is rising. However, there is need for Calypsonians to be more organized, to take that thing more serious. See it as a profession. Don't see it just as a part-time thing. You know, I sometimes get advice that, you know, where we just go in and sing a thing. And Calypso is just maybe around Carnival. I see Calypso from January to December, 365 days or 366 days, year round. And because people support Calypso in Grenada, and it is evident when you go to semi-final in Sea Moons and when you get to the Mardi Gras. You know, some people might not agree, but I want to say that when people get to the Mardi Gras, apart from anything else, they are there to hear Calypso. And Calypso is gaining prominence in Grenada. It's serious business, and I want to encourage Calypsonians to sharpen their act, clean up their act in terms of put their stuff together, be serious about it, and we're definitely going to hit the map with Calypso.
All right, okay. Do you think that the focus on the competition every year for Carnival contributes to that feeling, to that that view of, you know, Carnival just once a year and not during the full part of the year?
Well, yes and no, in that some people, they just prepare maybe for the competition.
Right.
And I have some personal, you know, positions on competition. It can uplift you, whereas it could also destroy you. Because here it is, we go out to compete, maybe for $15,000 or a car or whatever is the coveted price. And, you know, we put out our energies just to win that prize. Okay? And if we did not win that prize, what happened? Then there is all kind of wrangling and tangling, you know, and men start filing accusations, making all sorts of wild comments, making statements that are unfounded and cannot be substantiated, and therefore we, you know, you have that sort of dog mentality. And I don't think the culture should reach that avenue at all.
Okay, but you do feel that Calypso is on the rise in Grenada,
Precisely.
and that the music and the lyrics are getting better each year.
Lips and bounce, Calypso is on the rise in Grenada.
All right.
It is evident again when you hear the school children singing the lines of Callaloo, singing the lines of Space, singing the lines of singing the mic, singing the lines of Wizard. You know, Tout Moun Bagay. It's big business. And I think people into it now. The still band men, the masqueraders, the onlookers.
And you got G.B.T.V.
And G.B.T.V. Who I, from year to year, from the time Jenkaben and CultureShare hit Grenada, I want to say, without any shadow of doubt, and there are people who might have reservations about this comment I'm about to make, that Jenkaben, had it not been for Jenkaben, Grenadian Calypsonians would not have been aired on the airwaves here in the United States of America. Thanks to Jenkaben and G.B.T.V.
All right.
Respect due.
Strong words from Senator here. Okay, and what are your plans for the future?
My plans for the future, quite vivid. I want to get into documentation. I want to get into writing. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking seriously of doing a booklet of Grenada Calypso's 10 years. You know, and maybe starting with a couple of the finalists. You know, which will include autobiography. You know, their works, what inspired them. I'm working on that presently, and I see myself getting seriously into promoting, you know, actually bringing shows to Grenada and bringing Grenadian artists to other Caribbean islands and North America. Establishing contacts, keeping that link with other artists, and actually bringing everyone into what I envisage in my mind as a cultural crusade. You know, you have the evangelical crusade going from islands to islands. I see a cultural crusade where we bring artists together, Calypsonians, dramatists, popular theater activists, you know, bring the whole works together in what it would be an umbrella of culture into that, you know, a big sort of, you know, a big cultural arena of a theatrical performance which will envelop a grand gala performance. Dance, poetry, drumming, kaiso, reggae, rap, hip-hop, everything.
All right. Well, I certainly hope you succeed in those plans. I think that's something that keeping the cultural fires burning is what we're all about, and we'd like to see that also improve in the respective islands. Well, Senator, I'd like to thank you for being on CultureShare, spending your time with us, talking to the people, and thank you once again.